Okay, before I forget, someone asked me to show my tools, right? So I'm going to do a perfect, in-depth, detailed, and no stone left unturned description of my tools for all time, right? Yes? I wish. Alright, so, and not only am I going to show the tools, but what they're for, right? Well, let's see. These are all for Flintknapping. Yeah. This tool's for Flintknapping. This tool's for Flintknapping. This tool's for Flintknapping. You say, wait, that's not what you meant? These are all for Flintknapping. Oh, you want to know the precise uses of everything. Well, I'll tell you a secret. There is no precise use for any of this stuff. You can use it however you want. And I use it however I want. Okay? I'm just going to tell you what I got in my kit. Plus some extra stuff that you don't normally see. Right? Like, I don't normally show stuff like this. I get gifts of all kinds of cool stuff. But I don't keep it in my regular kit. And I order stuff online. Like this. That is just random stuff. What is this? This is a copper. I'm going to eventually make tools out of it. Like maybe a little billet. Yeah. For this one. What is it? I don't know. What kind of copper is it? Internet copper. Yeah, but what are the properties? It's got elephino properties. Combination of elephant and rhino. What are the properties? Elephino. Let's see. This one is 14 millimeter. Supposedly. No, 15 millimeter. These usually come in millimeter because they're a lot of times made in China. Alright, so what do we got here? We've got what is it? 9/16. Right? It's either 9/16 or whatever millimeters that was. 14? Okay, so I don't know. And like I said, I was going to make little billets. Like this. This is a little bopper. It's not called a billet, but it's a bopper because it has a cap, I suppose. It's weighted forward, so all the weight is in the tip. This one, the weight is going to be well distributed. Does it make a difference? That's what I want to find out. So, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Let's go over my kit. Well, what do you need? Let's start with the basics. Instead of overwhelming you with everything that I have in my kit, and this is only the current modern stuff. I have old modern stuff, and I got new modern stuff that I haven't shown on video yet. Because I'm for instance, I have a collection of brass that I'm gathering together to make a kit out of brass. Yes. It's going to contain a lot of these same things, but I'm going to have a brass bopper, brass hammer, brass pressure flaker, brass indirect rods. I've got all that stuff accumulating, and I'm going to start using it. I don't know when, but we'll see. Alright, so what do you need to start? You're going to need an abrader. These are grinding wheels. See that? It has a hole in it in the middle because it used to be a grinding wheel. These are all grinding wheel abraders, modern abraders. You just break the grinding wheel into fourths, which is not that difficult, and then you start abrading. Okay, you're going to need abraders. Yes, you will need it. Believe me, even though you don't want to, you're going to need it. What is the basic kit? Alright, I only have one pad that I use on a consistent basis. I use no other pads. So you're not going to see leg pads. This is the only pad that I have. Okay? You're not going to see hand pads or leg pads in my videos. Just that little, this little pad that some people think that it's a biscuit of some sort. Made, you know, like hardtack. It's a survival food or something. I don't know. I get weird comments on what that is. It's just leather on top of wood. All right. Okay, let me get the basics that I recommend. These are the basics that I recommend. 2 sizes of boppers, 9.6 ounce and 5 ounce. That's what I use as the two primary ones that feel right for me. All right, I'll tell you where to get these. These are from flintknapping.supplies.com. All right, so I'll provide a link. Very cool guy, very reasonable prices. Now, you're going to need a pressure flaker. Yep. And the longer handle ones are better. So I'm going to include that one. I got short handle ones too. Where did it go? I got like this. But you can buy these. These are for files, like the diamond files. This one already has a plastic one glued to it, but you can buy these files just plain, and you can insert them into a handle like this and make it very, very comfortable to file things. But what I do is, instead of putting the file in there, I put in a 10-penny box nail into there, and it bottoms out, and then I sharpen it. And if I want to do some really sneaky little bitty pressure flaking, all right, so you're going to need, well, I would say 3 different, where is it? I don't have a heavy one. Anyway, you're going to need at least 2 different pressure flakers, one very fine and one not so very fine. Okay, I don't ever use this, you never see this on video, but I recommend them because they're easy to both to buy on Amazon and to supply with your little tips. But I never use it. Okay, it's in my kit though, so I can show people. Where is it? Okay, my 2 indirect percussion rods. What is the measurement? Now these started out at 12 inches. I buy these from eBay. I'll provide a link. It's like 38 bucks for a set, or like 8 bucks each or something like that. I can't remember. A set of 5 or something is like, it's cheaper if you buy a set of 5. A little bit cheaper. See, this used to be a whole foot long, but now look how much I've worn it down. And I'll wear it down to about 7 inches and I can't use it no more. Effectively as just holding it behind my knee. Once it gets below 7 inches, it's very difficult to hold. So I'll mount it into a handle. All right. So both of these are getting to be about the same amount of wear. So I use them about the same. The measurement on these, what is it? 7 millimeter. If I can hold it still. I had my caffeine, so I'm a spaz right now. 8 millimeter, or I think it's 3/16. No, 5/16. What am I talking about? It's a little bit bigger than the 1/4 inch. I find that 1/4 inch in copper bends when you hit it. Steel, however, works really well as a 1/4 inch. And you've seen me use steel. Yeah, this is 1/4 inch. Right? I have my steel indirect percussion sticks. Okay, these are my 2 steel indirect percussion sticks. And these are my two copper. Alright? The steel doesn't wear down as easily. You can tell. I've used the steel more than the copper, and the copper's already getting short. Right, so there's a steel 1/4 inch. And then the other one I want to make sure is they're 3/8, right? Both of these are 3/8. And I'm giving you exact precise measurements and not forgetting anything, right? 3/8. You can do the conversion to millimeters, okay? I might not give the millimeters for everything. And I might not give the right inches for everything. Or I might forget and give you only the millimeters. But anyway, indirect percussion rods. And those are variable according to what you like. Okay? You might think I'm full of hooey if I'm saying that the 1/4 inch copper bends a lot. You use nothing but 1/4 inch copper for your little arrowheads and hunting points, and it doesn't bend that much. Okay, fine. Mr. Obsidian only. Yeah. Because I tell you what, if you're knapping only obsidian, then these won't bend when you hit them with the mallet. Just saying. Mallet. You're going to need a mallet to hit the indirect percussion rods. What is this? This can be anything that is high molecular weight plastic. Like if you have an old nightstick. Remember those nightsticks that cops used to carry? A little lanyard on them. I think that's what this is. You can cut one if you find one in the trash or whatever. Or you can specifically go out and buy ultra high molecular weight plastic, not Delrin, ultra high molecular weight plastic in 1 1/4 or 1.5 inches. I think this one's 1 1/4. Yeah, but this stuff does come in millimeter sizes. I mean, if it's more reliable if you look at it as a millimeter size. Because it's not exact. So it's like 10, 20, 30, 32 millimeter, something like that. Anyway, this is supposedly 1 1/4, but when you buy 1 1/4 in this stuff, sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes it's a little bit more. This is going to be a little bit more than 1 1/4. I'm pretty sure that's what I ordered, right? But you can order 1 3/8 or 1.5 inches. It'll still work. So anything between 1 1/4 and 1 3/8 for the mallet. And this one happens to be 9 inches long. These come in various lengths from eBay. I'll provide a link. The cheapest way to buy this is a 36-inch length, and you just cut it in the length you want. Okay, I've given away all my other stuff, mainly to international people who can't order this stuff. Okay, I used to have a bunch of that, but I only need one mallet. Okay, so the basic kit. Should I include gadgets in my basic kit? Oh, wait, I forgot something. What is this? What is this? And what is this? This is a 1-inch oak dowel, and this is a 16-penny nail, or what they call 16D, 3.5-inch common nails. Make sure it's common and not galvanized, and not anything else. Just a common box nail. Okay. This steel that these nails are made of is excellent for flint knapping. I don't know what it is. It's just excellent. So what I do is, this is just friction fit. Okay. You take your pliers. You take your excellent hyper tough pliers. That's what I like to buy. Any tool that has red and black for handles, I like it. Red and black, or red or black. Yeah. If it has any other color, I don't like it. Okay, just remember that. Anyway, see how long it is? It happens to be almost exactly half of the 16-penny nail when I replace it. So if you want, and you do this ahead of time like a smart person, not like me, but if you're smarter than I am, you are going to make these ahead of time so you don't have to interrupt your video and just cut these with this. What is it? It's a cobalt like bolt cutter. Okay, don't ask me what size. I just get it at Lowe's. All right, so if you cut these nails in half, I can't find the other part. You can just stick them in here, and you got plenty of tips. And the oak holds up very well as long as you're not Hercules. If you're Hercules, you have to wrap the tips with some sort of thread, wire, or cordage or whatever, so these don't crack. Or you can be even smarter than I am and get wood that is tougher than oak, like hickory. Okay, although hickory splits easily too, so you gotta watch it. You can get a hickory broom handle or some kind of tool handle made of hickory, in this diameter pretty easily. You just cut them down and then stick the nails in the end. Now, it doesn't matter what shape this is, but it should be stout enough to handle the kind of pressure you're doing. Okay? I'll put a link to these handles here. They're pretty cool. I like them. But the 16 penny doesn't fit in there. It's got to be a 10 penny. Right? If I'm wrong on that, I'll make a correction. But I think these are 10. This is a 10 penny box nail. 10D. Right? It fits perfectly in there. And you'll find out. You'll buy the wrong size and you'll go, it doesn't fit. And then you'll find the right size eventually. And you'll spend like, 12 bucks. Just trying to find the nails that fit. How do I know? I don't know. Okay, so what else? I have two different types of tips. This type of pointed tip and what I call a spatula tip. All right? You can even use a screwdriver for the spatula tip, depending on the steel. The cheaper the screwdriver, the better the steel is for knapping. In general. The more expensive the screwdriver, the steel tends to be too hard for knapping. If you wanted to use a screwdriver. This is a 16 penny nail as well. These are both 16 penny nail tools. And I just grind it down. With this. I grind it with the file. I'm not supposed to say grind it. I'm supposed to say file it with the file. Okay, I file it. But I also tend to use my abrading stones or my abraders to dress these up. Because a lot of times there's going to be rock dust in there. And you want to use this and not the file. The file can get dull quickly if you use it to shape the tips that are full of rock debris and dust. Okay, it'll dull your file if you're a purist. Okay, especially these guys. These will become embedded with rock chips, and you don't want to be doing this all the time. You want to dress these up with a file when they're in this state, not impregnated with stone chips. Okay? All right. If you care. If you don't care, then you just go out and buy one of these every time you need one. No problems. Yeah. I also like to keep an aluminum indirect percussion stick, just in case. Now this is 6061 aluminum. I do this, I remind people of the type because there's so many different types of aluminum. All right, it's 6061. That's important. When this steel down here, this is weldable steel. Weldable steel. You just get these at Lowe's, Home Depot, or whatever your local hardware store is, as long as it's not lame. If you have a lame hardware store, you're not going to be able to get it. You're not going to be able to get any of this stuff. Now, the caps for that, if you want to make your own, you're not going to get the types of nails you need. I don't know. I've seen hardware stores that got nothing but just cheap stuff. And nothing good. Alright, so I get these off of eBay. 5/8 inches in diameter, 12 inches long. Yeah, they're cutoffs or something from industrial processes. Anyway, this is good when I need a softer tip on my indirect percussion stick. Why would I need it softer? Well, I don't know. It depends on the stone. This works well on Obsidian, okay, compared to steel, although steel works on Obsidian as well. But in some cases, some Obsidian is so crushy with the steel that I have to use the aluminum to prevent crushing. But it's all trial and error. I'm not going to tell you what Obsidians do that, because yours may differ. You might have stuff that looks exactly like what I've got, but it naps differently. Yeah. And sometimes I'll get Obsidian in one nodule, and half the nodule will nap well with this, and half the nodule likes this one better. But it's the same nodule. Okay? So just be aware. So you need indirect percussion sticks, you need pressure flakers, you need a pad, you need abraders, and a couple boppers. Okay? Now, the extra stuff. What is important for extra stuff? Let me think here. First off, back scratcher. You don't want to have any itches and scratches that you can't get to while napping. Yep, and this is retractable, so it gets easily put in your kit. You need glass cutting tools. The scriber and the pliers. You're going to need both if you're going to be cutting bottle bottoms, or if you're going to be napping bottle bottoms. I got a video where I cut the bottle bottoms up into quarters, like a pie, except I like to do quarters or halves on the bottle bottoms instead of napping around the whole thing and then wasting the whole bottle bottom just for one arrowhead. You can get 4 arrowheads out of a bottle bottom if it's big enough, but you need a glass cutter. Score it, break it. Okay, that's one of the extra stuff. Let's see. You're going to need 2 sets of pliers. One for snipping in case something needs to be snipped, and one for heavy duty gripping. Okay? All right. You're going to need a file. Yeah, it's a mill file. M-I-L-L. Don't get the wooden file. You're going to need these bolt cutters, right? 18 inches by 450, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. You get these at Lowe's, right? I'm not afraid to tell you where I get them. These are excellent. You're going to need these for cutting all this stuff. I mean, it doesn't work that well on these thicker ones. Of course, you use a hacksaw to cut these, or a bandsaw, whatever. This is good for your tool tips and for the smaller things. It's indispensable, I think, because I hate to use the hacksaw. All right, and we got gadgets. We got the Nachomatic from my friend Ted Snyder. Okay, I'll tell you where to get these. What's a Nachomatic? Look it up in my videos. This is a set, like a set punch, right? Where this is a hardened steel tip, and you can set. How do you? Let's see if I can remember the terminology. All you machinists and stuff, that you know all the terminology. I forget it. It's been a long time since I was in machine shop. So anyway, this is a punch. It's the same principle as this. This will set a little dent in your work so you can start drilling. Now some people say, well, I'm not going to buy the Nachomatic. I'm going to buy the little punch. Well, this thing is 10 times more powerful than the Nachomatic. You don't want to buy this. Nope, you don't want to buy this. I have it in here just so I can show people what not to get. Okay? Don't get this. It's too powerful. All right. Now, if you want, you can get more sizes of boppers. Yeah, it goes all the way down to little bitties. If you want, knock yourself out. You're going to need a tape measure. You know, all the basics. You're going to need some eye protection. Right? I like to be very persnickety with my eye protection, so I got different magnifications. All right? I got 3 that I rely on. Yes, I need readers and magnifications. You can get these without magnification, okay? So I have 1.25, which is what I use like 99% of the time. But if I want to get close up for some of the more detailed work, I have more powerful ones, okay? All right. No need to go into that. What else? Let me see. Oh yeah, you're going to need the Oracle. What is the Oracle? It is this book. This is the most comprehensive book that you can get that beginners can benefit from. All right, there's various editions. This is a 13th edition. Get these from Barnes & Noble or from a link that I'll provide. I forget, who's it, Danny Collins? Somebody sells these on his website. But it's the 12th edition or something. Anyway, these editions are very similar to each other. I think they're up to the 15th edition. You can get the 15th, the latest edition, from Barnes & Noble. You should not be spending more than $35 or $38 for this. Okay? Just remember, if you're spending more, or if you see it for more than $35 to $38, they're trying to rip you off. Okay? All right. It has all the stuff you could happily nap as a beginner, and you'll be fine. They don't have side views, but they do have some good descriptions and good photos. All right, it's not color, so you don't know what color these things were back in the day. That's a bummer, but they do have some color photographs here of the 1% of the 1%. Of the most special, bestest of these. Right? Why do I talk funny like that? Because if you look at these, you'll get a wrong impression of what most artifacts look like. These are perfect. Most artifacts are not perfect. Okay? 99% of artifacts are rather crude looking. They're not perfect. But it does have some color photos here. In case you don't know what this book is, you can get some information on the color of the real ones, which is helpful because, see these? If it just says obsidian, you don't know if it's mahogany obsidian or the smoky clear obsidian. It does make a difference. These two knap differently. Different properties. Same with this one. These three obsidians have different properties of knapping, as an example. So just because it has obsidian as a description in the book, like it'll say sometimes the material, like this says Coshocton chert, for example, it'll show the material type. But with obsidian, it won't differentiate between these three types. And I get sometimes comments on what is the best obsidians to use and blah blah blah. Well, you just the smoky stuff or the triple flow is the best, I think. But yeah, just be aware that these vary. Okay, and this will help you. The book is excellent for beginners. You should get it. Gloves. These are the cheap gloves I get from Harbor Freight, and these will suffice for most things. But try to get thicker gloves for spalling. Yeah, I recommend gloves, especially with obsidian, but for everything. Yeah, I do recommend gloves because you don't want to be sidelined by a stupid little cut that is right in the spot where you're trying to use a tool. Like here, I burned myself the other day. This is actually a burn and not a blister. I made a mistake and grabbed a hot pan out of the oven that I was drying some herbs on, and I used a wet towel to draw it out of the oven, and I forget that heat transmits through water just like that, and I burn myself. Yeah, so use it. Moral of the story, use a dry oven mitt or a dry towel to remove stuff from the oven. Yeah. Anyway, you don't want to be sidelined by small cuts and irritations because you didn't wear gloves. All right, that's the point of that one. Need a broom and a dustpan. You might not think that's important, but it is. Keep the dust, especially off the top of your pants. If you're napping like I do with your forearms on your legs, get the dust off with the broom. And you can broom yourself off too. All right, what else can I think of? Oh yes, these are what I call field hammers. They're regular hammers that you buy at the store, but I cut them down. I cut off these handles. So what do I got? This is a 3.5 pound sledge. The handle is 6.5 or thereabouts. This one, this handle is like 6 3/8. So yeah, about 6.5 inches long handles. And why do I call these field hammers? Because I take these out in the field with me when I'm looking for rocks. And I'll bang on big rocks with this one and bang on small rocks with this one. Yeah, and they will get abused. And you're not supposed to hit rocks with these. But you know what? I don't care. But yeah, these are, you can buy these wherever you want. I'm not going to tell you that some of these hammers have special steel that are better than other steel for flint knapping, because your results may vary. Just look around and buy a bunch of stuff used or something and try them out. And if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. But yeah, you're going to need those for field work. When you're out in the field, you want to test your rocks before you bring them home in most cases, because it'll save you a lot of time. If you can do it. Now, if you're on the side of the road and you're going to be chipping flint and it's going to go into the road, don't be a jerk and leave all the flint chips everywhere. Either don't flint chip on the roadside, or just, you can take it home and flint and chip it at home. Okay. If you are going to chip it out in the field, make sure no one's going to drive over it with their brand new nice tires. Okay. What else? Oh yeah, you need markers to keep track of what everything is as far as properties of the stone. Like if it's raw stone, write down raw. If it's heat treat, write down heat treat, and write down the temperature that you heat treated it to, and who you got the stone from or whatever. These are essential for keeping track of your information on your stones, and I recommend writing on the stones themselves, even if you have to label 100 flakes. I recommend it. I don't do it myself. What I do, this is what I do. It's just so I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I take a batch like this. These are all flakes, right? Of various. So what I do is I find a good one that's like flat, and I write stuff like this. I go mixed or miscellaneous raw heat treat. That's what this bin is. It's a mix of various flakes of raw and heat treat. Why is it mixed together? Because it's all this root beerish looking stuff, for one. And number two, I don't have enough bins to be separating all this stuff. So when I start running out of bins, I kind of throw everything together. Okay? So this is miscellaneous raw and heat treat. And if it's raw, there's two types of raw. There's low quality raw and high quality raw. Okay, that's what I use for abbreviations. It makes a difference when you're going to do a project like hunting points or whatever, to know if it's low quality or high quality. You don't want to use the low quality stuff for hunting points, because the person that you're making the points for, including yourself, they want to resharpen their hunting points on occasion, and you don't want to give them crud. You want to give them something easy to nap. Okay. What else? You're going to need some books. What about books on flint napping? Well, I've been asked that many times, and I've reviewed various books. And the sad story is, books on flint napping are not worth much. That's why I've made over 1,800 videos. One of the reasons. Okay? I cannot recommend a flint napping book, because to me they're all meh. They won't guide you in the right direction. Alright, what else do I have as my... I would show you my heat treat setup, but you can search for my heat treat videos by typing in Jack Crafty heat treat. You can also type in Jack Crafty tools, and it'll show you tools at different stages of my flint napping journey. Alright? So what is the basic kit? What if you don't want to get all of this stuff? Let me just break it down to the basics. Alright? Here we go. Just the bare minimum. You don't need that. You don't need this. You don't need that. You need this. You do need this. You do need those two. You need that. What is that? You need this. You need 2 pressure flakers. And tape measure. Why do you need tape measure? You need the width to thickness ratio measurements. The width to thickness ratios are very important. Other flint nappers, they don't go over that stuff. I don't know why. And you need your field hammers. The basic kit is right there. Can you see? Oh yeah, you need preferably only 1 nail size to replace your tool tips. Okay, it makes it so much easier. You don't need all these different nail sizes. Band-aids, alcohol wipes, eye protection, gloves, should I put those in? No. I got, let's see, hold on, I'm looking. I got extraneous stuff in here. I could mention other stuff, but I won't. What other stuff can be immediately useful to you? I think that's good. Oh yeah, you need to mark your stones. You need those. 3 different sizes of Sharpie would be best, but that's just me. I'm a draftsman, so I need 3 different sizes of pens. Yeah, that's it. That's your basic kit. And your pressure flakers, like I said, 1 flat, 1 pointy. You can have as many as you want, of course, but that's the basic kit. How much is this going to run you? It depends on how handy you are, but you're looking at about $100. Because you're going to need to buy more than just 2 rods usually. If you want to save money, you buy a set of them. It costs more than whatever. Just to get started, yeah, you're going to need this too, right? But some people already have this. Or you might already have it. Or you just borrow it whenever you need it. But that's the basic kit. I would estimate $100. But you can scrounge around and get it. These are the most expensive things. This and the copper. Now this grinding wheel is extremely expensive. I get this from a friend of mine who works in industrial applications that use these large, huge grinders. If you want to buy one of these, it's like $600 for this wheel. It's a huge, gigantic wheel. He breaks them up after they throw them out. Yeah, but you don't want that. You want to try to get, regular cheap grinding wheel stuff. I think that's it for now. There you go. This is it. Once you add the book in, yeah, $100. Okay, that's what I'm estimating. Some of this stuff is gonna be new. Some of it's gonna be old, but that's your basic kit. Alrighty. There you go. That's it.